Hi everyone. So now I'm going to explain how to parse using predictive parsing parsers. So in my previous session I had explained the algorithm for parsing. In this lecture I'm going to explain it using an example. So in predictive parsing we have a predictive parsing table which I have displayed here, where all these are non-terminals and all these are terminals. All these are non-terminals and all these are terminals. Okay, so let's consider for now that this parsing table is given to us ready-made and we are just supposed to parse using predictive parsing table. So in this parsing we have a stack, we have an input and we have a output columns. Okay, so stack is represented by this column, this is the input string and this is the output. Now let's try to understand how to parse using predictive parsing. So at start you place dollar and a starting symbol on the stack, and this is the input string id plus id multiplied by id and ending it with a dollar sign. Okay, so id plus id into id end it with a dollar sign is the input string. Dollar is just an end of string marker, and you place dollar starting symbol on the stack. Now just check what is E on ID. Refer to the parsing table and check E on ID. So E on ID is this production. So you replace E on the stack with its production. So you replace E with T dash on the stack. But please remember, while placing the production on the stack, you have to place it in such a way that the first symbol here have to be topmost element on the stack. So while placing this production on the stack, please place it in the reverse way. That means if for E comma ID is this production, right? So you have to replace E with the production's right hand side. So please try to place it in opposite way. Order have to be opposite. That's why you place E dash T. So E dash T is placed on the stack. Okay. So in the output I have used this particular production, that's why I am saying E gives T dash. Okay. Now check on T on ID. What is T on ID? T on ID is F T dash. So in place of T, place T dash F on the stack. And since I have used this production, just write that production in the output column. Next is F on ID. So F on ID is this production. So in place of F you write ID on the stack. And since I have used this production, just write it here. Now you can cancel ID with ID. So if there is a terminal on top of the stack, input symbol always will be a terminal. If it is exactly matching, cancel it out. Meaning pop it off from the stack and increment the input pointer. It is as good as cancelling it out. So in the algorithm when I explained, I mentioned that if the topmost element of the stack is a terminal and if it matches with the current input character, then pop that element from top of the stack and increment the input pointer. Right? So which is as good as cancelling it out. So I cancelled ID with ID. So what remains is this. Now compute T dash on plus. What is T dash on plus? Epsilon. So in place of T dash you write epsilon. It is as good as removing T dash from the stack. So since I use this production, just write it. So whenever you all use any production or a particular combination, please write that production in the output column. Okay. So next is E dash on plus. What is E dash on plus? This production. So in place of E dash you write E dash T plus. So in place of E dash I am writing E dash T plus. Then I am cancelling plus with plus. I get this. What is T on ID? T on ID is F T dash. So in place of T you write T dash F on the stack. So in place of T you write T dash F on the stack. What is F on ID? F on ID is ID. So in place of F you write ID. Cancel id with id. You get this. What is t dash on asterisk? T dash on asterisk is asterisk f t dash. So in place of t dash, you write t dash f asterisk on the stack. So t dash f asterisk is on the stack. Cancel asterisk with asterisk. You get this. What is f on id? F on id is id. So replace f with id. Cancel id with id. And I'm continuing it here because of space constraint. Okay. What is t dash on dollar? T dash on dollar is epsilon. It is as good as replace t dash with epsilon. What is e dash on dollar? E dash on dollar is epsilon, which is as good as replace e dash with epsilon. I have a dollar as a topmost symbol on the stack, dollar as an input string character. So that means my parsing is over. So in the algorithm that I explained, if the topmost symbol on the stack is equal to current input symbol is equal to dollar, that means parsing is complete. I had mentioned that, right? In the algorithm, I had mentioned here that if the topmost symbol on the stack is equal to the input character which is equal to dollar, that means parsing is over. So I announce successful completion. Right? So this is a way to parse using predictive parsing parsers. Clear? Now let's learn to how to construct this predictive parsing table. Given a predictive parsing table ready-made, we know how to parse the string now, which I have just explained. Now we'll learn how to construct the predictive parsing table. Okay. So to construct the predictive parsing table, we need to know how to compute something called first and something called follow. Okay. So these are the main important components to learn how to construct predictive parsing table. So to construct predictive parsing table, we need to know how to compute first and how to compute follow. So let's learn that first. Okay. So on the same slide, I have explained here the algorithm to compute first. I have explained here the algorithm to compute follow. And I have also taken one cute example here and also explained how to compute first and how to compute follow. Okay, so these are the algorithms to compute first and follow respectively, and this is an example that I have taken to explain the first and follow calculations. Okay, so now first I'll explain how to construct first. We'll see the theory later on. So let's be expert with the problem solving first. Okay. So please remember, first of a terminal is a terminal. I repeat, first of a terminal is a terminal. First of a epsilon is a epsilon. I repeat, first of a epsilon is a epsilon. So please remember these 2 points. First of a terminal is a terminal. First of an epsilon is epsilon. Okay. And if you have a production of this format, like a non-terminal giving a set of non-terminals on the right hand side or a string on the right hand side, what you do is compute first of y1 and put it into first of x. If first of y1 contains epsilon, then you compute first of y2 and put the contents of first of y2 into first of x. If first of y2 also contains epsilon, then compute first of y3. Put all the items in first of y3 into first of x. If first of y3 contains epsilon, then you go ahead. So you keep on doing, or you keep on going ahead. Okay. Only first of a particular y contains epsilon, you go ahead. You stop going ahead when first of yi does not contain epsilon in it. If first of all these y's on the right hand side contains epsilon in it, then only you add epsilon to first of x. Till then, no. If first of all these y's on the right hand side of this production, if first of all of them contain epsilon in it, only in that case you add epsilon to first of x, else no. So what are the simple rules to compute first? First of a terminal is a terminal. First of an epsilon is an epsilon. And when you have a production with more than one entity on the right hand side, you compute the first of first entity, and whatever elements you get from that computation, put it into first of x, except the epsilon character. If first of y1 contains epsilon, then whatever non-epsilon characters which were there, I have assigned it to first of x, right? So since it contains epsilon, you compute first of y2. You compute first of y2, and all the characters in the first of y2 except epsilon, you put them into first of x. If first of y2 again contains epsilon, you compute first of y3, and all the characters in first of y3 except the epsilon character, you place it in first of x. You keep on doing this till first of y contains epsilon in them. If first of all y's on the right hand side contains epsilon in it, then you place epsilon in the first of x as well. I repeat, if first of all y's on the right hand side of the production contains epsilon in it, only then you add epsilon to first of x, as far as this production goes. Okay, so using these simple three rules, let's construct first using productions. So I'll start with f. So this is of the format y1, y2, y3. So first of y1 is first of open bracket. So first of open bracket is what? What is open bracket? It's a terminal. So first of a terminal is a terminal, right? So first of open bracket is a open bracket. So since open bracket takes the place of y1 here, since first of open bracket is a open bracket which does not contain epsilon in it, so stop going ahead. Clear? This is of the format y1, y2, y3. So y1 is open bracket. So what is first of y1? Open bracket, because first of terminal is a terminal itself. Since first of y1, that is open bracket, is not containing epsilon in it, stop going ahead. Okay, take the next option for f. F gives id. So this, what is first of terminal? id. What is first of id? id itself. So write id. So first computation of this production is over. It's complete. I'll explain it again. Now let's compute first for f. Okay, so this is of the form y1, y2, y3. So what did I explain? Compute first of y1, and whatever is in the first of y1 except the epsilon character, place it in first of left hand side. If first of y1 contains epsilon, then only you go ahead with computation of first of y2. If first of y2, okay, contains epsilon, then only you compute first of y3, and you keep on going ahead. You stop when first of particular y does not contain epsilon in it. If first of all y's on the right hand side contain epsilon in it, only then you add epsilon to first of left hand side. That's what I had explained, right? So this is of the form y1, y2, y3. So first of y1, that is first of open bracket, is open bracket. The reason being first of terminal is a terminal. Since first of y1 does not contain epsilon in it, I stop. I don't move ahead. The next possible option is f gives id. First of id is id. That's it. Now let's compute first of t dash. First of t dash, one of the options says y1, y2, y3. So what is first of y1? Here y1 is asterisk. So first of asterisk is asterisk. Since first of y1 does not contain epsilon in it, first of asterisk is asterisk only, right? Since first of asterisk is asterisk and it does not contain epsilon in it, I stop. I don't move ahead. Let's take the next production of t dash. The next production of t dash gives epsilon. What is first of epsilon? Epsilon. So add it here. So the very first point I had mentioned, first of terminal is a terminal. First of epsilon is a epsilon. And the third possible rule is x gives y1, y2 till yk. Correct? Let's compute first of t. First of t, now this is of the format y1, y2. So let's compute first of f. So first of f is already computed. So open bracket and id, you keep it here. Okay. Whatever is in first of f, I have to place it in first of t, except the epsilon character. So first of f is open bracket id. So place it here. Does first of f contains epsilon in it? Does first of f contains epsilon in it? No. So stop it. So only when first of y contains epsilon you move ahead, else not. Let's compute first of e dash. This is of the form y1, y2, y3. So first of plus is plus. Since first of plus does not contain epsilon in it, I stop. I don't move ahead. The next rule of e dash is e dash gives epsilon. First of epsilon is epsilon. Let's compute first of e now. What is first of t? First of t I have already computed, which is close bracket and id. Since first of t does not contain epsilon in it, I stop. So this is how you have to compute first. You have to simply follow these three rules. What is the first rule? First of terminal is a terminal. First of epsilon is in epsilon. And when you have the right hand side of the production of length greater than 1, okay, or 1 or greater than 1 for that matter, so I match it with this particular formula. X gives y1, y2 till yk. So compute first of y1 and place all the non-epsilon characters from first of y1 into first of left hand side. If first of y1 contains epsilon, you go ahead and compute first of y2. Place all the non-epsilon characters from first of y2 into first of left hand side. If first of y2 contains epsilon in it, compute first of y3. Place all the non-epsilon characters from first of y3 to first of left hand side. If first of y3 also contains epsilon, go to y4. Place all the non-epsilon characters in y4 to first of left hand side. So you go on doing this, and if first of all y's on the right hand side contains epsilon in it, only then you add epsilon to first of left hand side. I repeat, only if first of all y's on the right hand side contains epsilon in it, then only you place epsilon in the first of left hand side. Clear? So I'll again explain to you all how to compute this first. So let's compute first of f. So this is of the form y1, y2, y3. So first of open bracket is open bracket, which does not contain epsilon in it, so I stop. Take the next option. First of id is id, so that computes first of f. Then compute, let's compute first of t dash. So this is of the form y1, y2, y3. First of asterisk is asterisk, which do not contain epsilon in it, so I stop it. Go to the next option. First of epsilon is epsilon, so place epsilon here. First of t is first of f. So what is first of f? Open bracket and id, so place them here. Since first of f does not contain epsilon in it, I stop it. Go to the next e dash. What is first of e dash? This is a form y1, y2, y3. So first of plus is plus, which do not contain epsilon in it, so I stop. Next option is e dash gives epsilon. So first of epsilon is epsilon, so place it here. Next is this example. What is first of t? I have already computed it. Open bracket and id, so place it here. Since first of t do not contain epsilon, I stop it. So with this, my first computation is done. So these are the theory rules for computation of first. What are the rules? First rule says, if x is a terminal, first of x is x, which is as good as first of terminal is a terminal. Rule number 1, first of terminal is a terminal. Rule number 2, first of epsilon is a epsilon. Okay. So what it says, if x is a non-terminal and there is some production here, A alpha, then add A, which is a terminal, to first of X. If X gives epsilon is a production, then add epsilon to first of X. That means if X is a terminal, first of terminal is a terminal. If X gives epsilon is a production, then epsilon goes in first of X. That's what we did here. Epsilon went in first of T dash, epsilon went in first of A dash. Okay, so if X gives epsilon is a production, epsilon you place it in first of left hand side. The last rule says if X is of the format y1, y2 till yk, then compute first of y1. All the characters from first of y1 except the epsilon character, you place it in first of left hand side. If first of y1 contains epsilon, then you go ahead and compute first of y2. If whatever is in the first of y2 except the epsilon character, place it in first of left hand side. If first of y2 again contains epsilon, then move ahead. You keep on moving ahead till first of particular y contains epsilon. Only if first of all y's on the right hand side contains epsilon in it, add epsilon to first of left hand side, else no. Okay. So by now I think everyone is clear how to compute first. Now let's compute follow. Okay. So how to compute follow? Place dollar in follow of the start symbol. Okay. So let's compute follow. Now which is the start symbol here? E. So follow of E, I place a dollar in follow of start symbol. If there is a production of the form this, A gives alpha B beta, where beta is not equal to empty, meaning there is something in place of beta, then everything in first of beta but epsilon, place it in follow of B. What this rule means is if A gives alpha B beta is a production and there is something in place of beta, then place everything in first of beta except the epsilon character in follow of B. Remember, follow never contains epsilon. A simple tip for you all. Follow never contains epsilon in it. Follow never ever contains epsilon in it. So by mistake also please don't add epsilon in follow calculations. Clear? So what this production tells me, if A gives alpha B beta is a production, and if there is something in place of beta, place first of beta into follow of B except the epsilon character. Since I have mentioned to you all that follow never contains epsilon, I won't be repeating it again and again. So I'll just say now that put first of beta in follow of B. Since epsilon is not there in follow, no point in discussing epsilon. That's why I'm saying if there is something in place of beta, place first of beta in follow of B. Simple. Production number 3 says if there is a production A gives alpha B or alpha B beta, where first of beta contains epsilon, then everything in follow of left hand side is in follow of B. So this rule says if there is a production which is ending with a non-terminal, or if there is a beta after non-terminal whose first contains epsilon in it, then everything in follow of left hand side you place it in follow of B. I repeat, if a production ends with a non-terminal, or after a non-terminal if there is a stuff beta whose first contains epsilon, then everything in follow of left hand side goes in follow of B. 3 simple rules to compute follow. Place dollar in follow of start symbol. Then if there is a production of the form A gives alpha B beta, and if there is something in place of beta, place first of beta in follow of B. Last rule says if a production is ending with a non-terminal, or after a non-terminal if there is something following after that, and if first of that beta contains epsilon in it, then you place follow of left hand side into follow of B. Okay, so let's compute follow for these particular productions. Follow of start symbol contains dollar in it, rule number 1. Rule number 2 says match it with alpha B beta, and if there is something in place of beta, place everything in first of beta into follow of B. So let's apply rule 2. Okay. So this is of the form alpha b beta. Alpha is empty here. What is the condition here? Only beta should not be empty. Alpha definitely can be empty. It may or may not. It's not that it should be empty. So alpha can be anything. It can be empty also. So, but the constraint over here in rule 2 is beta should not be empty. There should be something in place of beta. Okay. And this b is obviously a non-terminal. So let's apply that rule here. Rule 2 is applied here. Alpha b beta. So there is something in place of beta here, which is e dash. So beta is e dash. So what? There is something in place of beta. So first of e dash you place it in follow of t. So first of e dash you place it in follow of t. So plus I place it in follow of t. Please remember, follow never contains epsilon. So I won't repeat it again and again. So when I say place first of e dash in follow of t, even the first of e dash contains epsilon and plus, I just add plus here. I don't enter epsilon because follow never contains epsilon. It's a small tip. Follow never contains epsilon. So even though I say over here, add first of e dash to follow of t, first of e dash actually contains two characters, plus and epsilon. But I just add epsilon to follow of t. Sorry, I just add plus to follow of t because follow never contains epsilon. Follow never ever contains epsilon. That's why when the second rule says first of e dash you place it in follow of t, first of e dash actually contains plus and epsilon, but I only place plus in follow of t and I don't place epsilon. Okay. So alpha b beta, so first of e dash goes in follow of t. So first of e dash goes in follow of t. Is rule number 2 applied here? Alpha b beta, yes. So first of e dash you place it in follow of t, which I have just done. First of e dash, place it in follow of t. Go to the next rule, alpha b beta. So first of t dash you place it in follow of f. First of t dash you place it in follow of f. So asterisk you place it in follow of f. Next is alpha b beta. B, remember, is a non-terminal, right? So alpha b beta. So first of close bracket you place it in follow of e. So close bracket you place it in follow of e. Okay. So rule number 2 is not applied anywhere else. So I'll again explain these two before we move ahead. Place dollar in follow of start symbol. So E is the start symbol. So place dollar in follow of start symbol. Okay. Next rule says compare all the productions for this format alpha b beta where there is something in place of beta. It should not be empty. If that's the case, place first of beta into follow of b. Place first of beta into follow of b. So let's apply that. Alpha is empty here. Alpha, b and beta. B is a non-terminal, right? This is capital B, so it's a non-terminal. Alpha, b, beta. So place first of e dash into follow of t. First of e dash, that is plus, place it in follow of t. Apply to next production. Alpha, b, beta. First of e dash, you place it in follow of t, which I just did this now. Of alpha, b, beta. First of t dash, you place it in follow of f. First of t dash, that is asterisk, you place it in follow of f. First of t dash is asterisk, you place it in follow of f. Then alpha b beta. First of t dash, you place it in follow of f. First of t dash, you place it in follow of f. So asterisk I am placing here. Okay. Next rule, alpha b beta. So first of close bracket, you place it in follow of e. So first of close bracket, you place it in follow of e. So with this, my second rule is applied to all the productions wherever it was possible. Clear? Now rule number 3 of follow. What it says, if a production ends with a non-terminal, or if a production is having something of the non-terminal but its first contains epsilon in it, then whatever is in the follow of left hand side, you place it in follow of b. So first let's apply the first part of it. That is, let's find out all productions which are ending with a non-terminal. Okay, this is ending with a non-terminal. So whatever is in follow of E, you place it in follow of E dash. Whatever is in follow of E, you place it in follow of E dash. Copy them here. This is also ending with a non-terminal. So whatever is in E dash, you place it in E dash, which is as good as itself. This is also ending with a non-terminal. So whatever is in first of follow of T, you add it in follow of T dash. So whatever is in follow of T, you place it in follow of T dash. Okay. Whatever is T dash, you place it in follow of T dash, which is one and the same thing. Whatever is F, this is not ending with a non-terminal, so that's fine. So we have applied this rule saying whenever a production ends with a non-terminal, whatever is on the follow of left hand side, put it in follow of B. So this is ending with a non-terminal. So whatever is in follow of E, at this point you copy it in follow of E dash. So whatever is in follow of E, you copy it in follow of E dash. This is also ending with a non-terminal. So follow of E dash, you copy it follow of E dash. Since both are same, no operation. This is ending with a non-terminal. So follow of T, you copy it in follow of T dash. So whatever is in follow of T, you copy it in follow of T dash. Okay. Now this is not ending with non-terminal. So that's it. Now only one thing is remaining. Check the productions where B is a non-terminal whose first of beta contains epsilon in it. If first of beta contains epsilon in it, whatever is in follow of left hand side, put it in follow of B. Okay. So alpha B beta. Does first of E dash contains epsilon in it? Yes. First of E dash contains epsilon in it. So whatever is in follow of E, you place it in follow of T. I repeat. Now I am checking whether the last rule is working out for all the productions. Okay. What it says, A gives alpha B beta where first of beta contains epsilon. So I'll make it as alpha B beta. So beta is E dash. Is first of E dash containing epsilon? Yes. So whatever is in follow of E, you copy it in follow of T. So whatever is in follow of E, you copy it in follow of T. Okay. Now apply that rule here. Alpha B beta. Is first of E dash contains epsilon? Yes. So whatever is in E dash, you copy it in follow of T. So whatever is in E dash, you copy it in follow of T. Okay. Next is apply here. Alpha B beta. Is first of T dash contains epsilon in it? Yes. So whatever is in follow of T, you put it in follow of F. Whatever is in follow of T, you copy it into follow of F. Apply that rule here. Alpha B beta. Is first of T dash contains epsilon in it? Yes. So whatever is in follow of T dash, you put it in follow of F. Whatever is in follow of T dash, you copy it into follow of F. Okay. Alpha B beta, first of close bracket does not contains epsilon in it. So that rule is not applicable here. Okay. So I'll again explain you all the computation of follow, because these are important concepts. So for the follow, you place dollar in follow of start symbol. So place dollar in follow of start symbol. Second rule says match all the productions for alpha B beta where there should be something in place of beta. If there is something in place of beta, whatever is in first of beta, you place it in follow of B. Whatever is in first of beta, you place it in follow of B. So let's apply that rule. Alpha B beta. So first of E dash, you place it in follow of T. So first of E dash, you place it in follow of T. So plus you place it in follow of T. So alpha B beta, it is applicable here also. Whatever is in first of E dash, you place it in follow of T. Whatever is in first of E dash, you place it in follow of T. Alpha B beta. Whatever is in first of T dash, you place it in follow of F. So whatever is in first of T dash, you place it in follow of F. Alpha B beta, first of T dash, you place it in follow of F, which we just did just now. Alpha B beta, so first of close bracket, which is a close bracket, you place it in follow of E. So close bracket goes in follow of E. So rule number 2 is applied to all the productions. Last rule are of two types. So let's apply one at a time. Any production which is ending with a non-terminal, okay, place follow of left hand side into follow of right hand side. Place follow of left hand side into follow of B. So this is ending with a non-terminal. So place follow of E into follow of E dash. Copy follow of E into follow of E dash. This is also ending with a non-terminal. Place follow of E dash into follow of E dash, which is one and the same thing. This is also ending with a non-terminal. Place follow of T into follow of T dash. This is ending with a non-terminal. Place follow of T dash into T dash, which is one and the same thing. This is not ending with a non-terminal, so forget about it. Second part of the third rule says match it with alpha b beta, and only first of beta contains epsilon in it. Place follow of left hand side into follow of B. I repeat, only first of beta contains epsilon in it. Place follow of left hand side into follow of B. So alpha b beta is first of E dash contains epsilon in it. Yes. So place follow of E into follow of T. Apply it here. Alpha b beta is first of E dash contains epsilon in it. Yes. Place follow of E dash into follow of T. Match it here. Alpha b beta is first of T dash contains epsilon in it. Yes. So place follow of T into follow of F. Match it here. Alpha b beta is first of T dash contains epsilon in it. Yes. So place follow of T dash into follow of F. Alpha b beta, but first of close bracket does not contains epsilon in it, which is close bracket. Hence that rule is not applied here. So keep on applying this till no more elements are added to follow. And remember, very important point, never add epsilon in follow. That's why when I said place first of E dash into follow of T, only plus I added to follow of T. I never added epsilon to follow of T, because follow never contains epsilon in it. Is that clear? So this is how we can construct the predictive parsing table now. These are the set of the productions. So given the grammar, I eliminated left recursion, I performed a left factoring, and then that grammar was readied for use to have a recursive distance parser. Recursive distance parser can be implemented using predictive parser. First I explained to you all how to parse a given input string using predictive parsing table. ID plus ID into ID, right? There was a stack maintained. So I explained to you all, given an input string ID plus ID into ID, how to parse that string using a predictive parsing table. My next intention was how to construct this predictive parsing table. To construct this predictive parsing table, first is you need to compute first and follow. So in the previous slide I explained to you all how to compute first and how to compute follow. Okay. Now I'll explain to you all how to construct a table out of those values. Okay. So the algorithm for constructing predictive parsing table is as follows. For each production A gives alpha of the grammar, do steps 2 and 3. So what it says, for each terminal in first of right hand side, add A comma alpha to the table. So what we need to do is compute first of right hand side. Compute first of right hand side of a production, and for all the terminals which are there in the first of right hand side, mark the end, put that production into the table. Okay. So let's do it. Let's take this production. What is first of right hand side? First of right hand side is, this is of the form y1 y2. So first of T, what is first of T? Open bracket and ID. So first of T is open bracket and ID. So I open bracket, you write this production here, copy it this production here, and ID. Copy the same production here as well. Okay, see, you compute first of right hand side. What is first of right hand side? This is of the y1 y2 format. So first of t is open bracket and ID. We came to know from here. First of t is open bracket and ID. So at open bracket and at ID, just copy this production as it is. So at open bracket and ID, just copy this production. Then go to the next one. Okay, what is the first of right hand side for this production? First of right hand side for this production is plus because of y1 y2 format. First of plus does not contain epsilon in it, so no need of going ahead. So first of plus t e dash is plus. So copy this production at plus, e dash gives plus. Remember, when I write something like this, these are two different productions. This entire thing is not one production. E dash gives plus t, e dash is one production. E dash gives epsilon is a second production. I repeat, e dash gives plus t, e dash is first production. E dash gives epsilon is the second production. So these are two different productions. Okay, so compute first of right hand side, that is plus, and at plus sign, e dash on plus you place this production. E dash on plus you place this production. Then let's see e dash on epsilon. So e dash on epsilon, what is first of epsilon? Epsilon. So at epsilon, we have a different rule to be followed. Okay. So for epsilon, we have a different rule to be followed. Because if epsilon is in first of x, then we have a rule number 3. So before going to rule number 3, let's just focus on rule number 2. Okay. So let's forget about epsilon for now. What is first of f t dash? Whatever is in first of f. First of f is open bracket and ID. So this you write at t comma open bracket and ID. At open bracket and ID, just copy this production. What is first of t dash gives asterisk f t dash? It is asterisk. So at t dash comma asterisk, you just copy this production. Let's keep epsilon for now. What is first of right hand side? Open bracket. So at open bracket, you write this production. So what is the first of right hand side for f gives ID? ID. So at ID, you place f gives ID. Clear? So I have applied rule number 2. What rule number 3 says? If first of right hand side contains epsilon in it, add the production to the table at all the places at follow of left hand side. If first of right hand side contains epsilon in it, then add that production to follow of left hand side. And if dollar is on the follow on left hand side, then add this production at also at dollar. Okay. So the rule says what rule number 2 says? Compute first of right hand side and at all those places you place the production. If epsilon is in first of right hand side, then you place the production at follow of left hand side. And if follow of left hand side contains dollar in it, then you place this production also at the dollar. Okay, so let's solve that. Does first of right hand side contains epsilon in this? What is first of t? First of t is open bracket and ID. Since first of t does not contain epsilon in it, I don't go ahead. That means first of right hand side does not contain epsilon here. Let's take this example y1, y2, y3 format. First of plus is plus, which do not contain epsilon, so I stop. So first of right hand side is plus, which do not contain epsilon here. Does e dash gives epsilon contains epsilon in first of right hand side? Yes. So since e dash gives epsilon, this particular production contains epsilon in first of right hand side. I have to place that production at follow of left hand side. So what is follow of e dash? Follow of e dash is close bracket and dollar. So place this production E dollar E prime gives epsilon, place that production at fall of E dash. And what is fall of E dash? Close bracket and dollar. So at close bracket and dollar, place this production. Simple. Because if first of right hand side contains epsilon, place that production at fall of left hand side. So place that production at close bracket and dollar. Simple. Take the next example. What is the first of right hand side? Whatever is first of f to start with. First of f contains open bracket and id. Since it does not contain epsilon in it, I don't go ahead. That means first of right hand side does not contain epsilon in it. What about next production? This is of the form y1, y2, y3. First of asterisk f t dash is asterisk, which do not contain epsilon in. So I don't apply this rule. Take t dash gives epsilon. First of right hand side epsilon is epsilon. Hence, I have to place this production at follow of left hand side. What is follow of t dash? Follow of t dash is plus close bracket and dollar. So place this production t dash gives epsilon to plus close bracket and dollar. So place this at plus close bracket dollar. Simple. So t dash gives epsilon. This production I have placed it at plus close bracket and dollar. The reason being plus close bracket and dollar are in follow of left hand side. Okay. Is first of right hand side contains epsilon? No, it's only open bracket. Is first of right hand side contains epsilon? No, it's only id. That's it. So whichever entries which are not defined, which are open cells over here, are erroneous. So while parsing, if you encounter the topmost stack element comma identifier, when you come and match over here, and if it is empty, it's an error. Okay, so just a small tip for you all over here is what you all do is you compute first of right hand side. Okay, so you compute first of right hand side and you place the production at all the terminals in the first of right hand side. You compute first of right hand side and you place the production at all the terminals in first of right hand side. If first of right hand side contains epsilon in it, then you also place this production at follow of left. If first of right hand side contains epsilon in it, place this production also in first of left hand side. Please remember, follow never contains epsilon. This table never contains a column for epsilon terminal. Please remember that. Follow never ever contains epsilon. Similarly, in this predictive parsing table, there will not be a column for epsilon. So even by mistake, don't add a column for epsilon. Please don't add a column for epsilon. If you don't add a column for epsilon, then you won't make any mistake of adding epsilon, or you won't make any mistake of errors while constructing this table. Please don't include epsilon in follow. Never ever include epsilon in follow. Never ever include epsilon as a column. Please don't include epsilon as a column here and follow my rules. You will get correct solutions. Never include epsilon in follow. Never include epsilon in follow, and never have epsilon as a column in this table. Never ever have epsilon as column in this table. If you follow these rules, you will handle epsilons properly. So my rule is compute the first of right hand side and place the production at all the terminals in first of right hand side. If first of right hand side contains epsilon in it, also place this production at follow of left. I repeat, compute first of right hand side and for all those terminals you place this production in first of right hand side. If first of right hand side contains epsilon in it, you place this production also in follow of left hand side. Okay, then please listen to this video again and again to get more clarity over it, because only when you will listen to this video 3 to 4 times you will understand it better. But once you remember this, once you understand this, then you will never forget it. That's my promise. but you have to listen to this video 2 to 3 times in order to get hang over it. Okay, so you have to compute first of right hand side and place that production there. If first of right hand side contains epsilon in it, also place this production at follow of left. Okay, so LL1 grammars are grammars whose parsing tables have no multiply defined entries. If you just see this table, at each particular combination there is maximum one production in one cell. There is maximum one production in one cell, maximum. That means for a particular state and terminal combination you don't have more than one productions, right? While parsing for a particular non-terminal and a terminal in this table, you don't have more than one productions here. So that's why this is LL1 grammar. Okay, because this grammar in this parsing table there are no multiply defined entries. That's why it is called LL1 grammars. In many exam papers, teachers might ask you to check whether a grammar is LL1. So what you need to do to check whether a grammar is LL1? You need to first remove the left recursion from the grammar, then you have to perform left factoring, then you have to compute first, then you have to compute follow, and then you have to compute this predictive parsing table and verify that none of the cells in the table are having redundant entries. That means for a particular non-terminal terminal combination, in a particular cell in a table you should not have more than one production. Now if you just see here, each of the cells in this matrix are having maximum one production. If you encounter that there are two productions written here in one cell, that means it is not LL1 grammar. In this example, each cell contains maximum one production. There is no redundancy. That's why this is a LL1 grammar. This is definitely a LL1 grammar because there are no multiply defined entries in the table. There are no multiply defined entries in the table. That's why this is a LL1 grammar. Okay. So the steps that you need to follow is eliminate left recursion, perform left factoring, compute first, compute follow, construct the table, and if the table still contains multiply defined entries in a particular cell, then it is not a LL1 grammar. Okay. So I'll explain the shift reduce parser, which is totally new parser, in the next session of my compilers. Thank you.